All right. Welcome, dear friends, to Cardiac Radio. We are here, live, right? From our studio. We were just testing a new system, so we apologize. But welcome, dear friends. Here we are at Cardiac Radio with you, enjoying one more day. One more day on Hope and Light. Hope and Light is a book that is under translation and revision by the team at Cardiac Radio, and we're sharing with you. It's a short book that was psychographed by Chico Xavier in 1993. Chico Xavier then was 83 years old, and this is some part of the beauty of this book because it talks about hope and light. He was 83. I know many people who start aging and they start really, feeling like, oh, there's nothing else I can do in life. And Chico Xavier shows to us that, you work until your last minute, but you work with God and for God, right? So we're studying this book that brings us messages about hope. Yes, hope is one of the elements that Jesus brought to us. He said to Bartholomew, and it's published in the very book Good News by Brother X or Humberto de Campos through Chico Xavier. It's chapter 8. He says, Bartholomew, the trademark of those who follow the Christ are joy, hope, and courage. A lot to meditate when he mentions that. But for us, we're going to focus on hope. So Emmanuel brings the preface of the book by saying that, and I'll quote from his very sentence, hope is the stimulus with which the divine providence marked the growth and the elevation of life. So hope is everything to do with progress. So you remember, if you have already read the Spirit's book by Kardec, we have in the third part of the book, the laws of God, the moral laws. Cara Correa on Saturdays at 6 p.m., she is covering the study of those laws in the Spirit's book. And there's one of these laws that is titled Law of Progress. It's law, like gravity. You can't fight against it. You and I are destined to progress. What can we do? Progress. Yes. What do we do about the law of progress? We progress. So when we talk about hope, he's saying God gives us a stimulus, telling us, keep it up, move on, move forward, press on. And Emmanuel uses those expressions in many of his books. So thank you for those who are here back, patiently back, and helping us, test drive a new system at Cardiac Radio, new microphones, new many things to make sure we are in better shape for our systems as well here in Chantilly. Hope is the force of understanding and waiting. Force, meaning there is energy in it, and it's all about understanding. We can't hope if we don't understand, and that's the power of Spiritism, because Spiritism will let us know that it is vital for us to break down life. First, understanding ourselves, and then, of course, understanding people. Everyone is divine. We cannot despise anyone. We can't. We can't despise anyone because everybody is from God and is with God. So He says, understanding and waiting. So there is also energy in learning to wait, which is everything about patience, the patience of those who understand Jesus, our top level of hope. He looks at you and I, and he's not disappointed. He's not discouraged. He is not going to give up on us. God doesn't give up on us because they understand us. They can look at us and already see past these moments that are ephemeral. So we need to join forces with them, with the higher spirits that are presiding our lives. In the book Our Daily Bread, there is a message in chapter 76 titled Witnesses. In that message, our dear Emmanuel shares with us that before we reincarnated, we repented, we asked for another opportunity, and there were many people interceding for us. And now, as we are reincarnated, Emmanuel closes that chapter by saying, those people who are in the spiritual realm, they are worried about us. And they are cheering for us at the same time. So he says, be aware of it. Be aware that they are helping us succeed. We're not in this journey of our reincarnation alone. We have a whole group teaming up with us, interested in our evolution. We're not alone. So that's why the other day, I remember this passage. I was thinking about some scenarios in my life that were happening then. And then I was talking mentally, of course, with the spirit mentor, Joseph. And then he said, let me show to you. And then he showed this almost like a video call. Spirits who love us saying, come on, Vanessa, we love you. We're cheering for you. It's almost like, give me an A. Come on, give me a V. Give me an A. N-E-S-S-A. Vanessa, go. Move on, Vanessa. Forward. Press on. Don't give up. So they do it for us. And we're joking here, but no kidding. They really do it. So then in the first chapter, Emmanuel says, we have a guided model. He's the greatest. And he didn't have anything. And that's the beauty of Jesus being a model, because how can you follow a model if they have a title, position, privileges, and Jesus had none? Zero. So there's no excuse for us. Oh, I can't follow him because there's no excuse. Oh, because the bar is too high. Well, God knows what he did. Maybe we're doubting our capacity when we say that the Jesus bar is too high. So we need to believe in ourselves. Believing in ourselves is essential to succeed. The hope that we're built to progress. Do you feel it? And then what do we do oftentimes, friends? When we feel that things are not really coming along, we feel like children, right? And then we go back. We're like, oh my gosh, it's not going to work. So then we ask for more. And today the message is about petitions. Before we go to petitions, let me read this message. The very piece that Adil so kindly is bringing here. Thank you, Adilson. He says, therefore, since we too are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us leave behind everything that hinders. And then he brings to us the message. It's right here. If you're listening to this at Cardiac Radio and you cannot read it, go to Facebook. If you cannot go to Facebook, then go straight to the book, Our Daily Bread, chapter 76, Witnesses. And at the very end of the message, and I have to read, he says, one second, friends, let me read it, right? He says, this very day, do as much good as possible for your partners in the struggle, and do not forget those who, full of concern and love, watch over you in spirit. So we need to do as much good as possible with the people that are in our lives. And he says, children, parents, husband and wife, friends, neighbors, colleagues at work, relatives. Do as much good as possible because that's the deal. We signed up for it. And now it's our turn. We can't give up, right? Daisy too is here. Nora Brazil, I can see Teresa Castro. Oh, we miss all of you. Karina Alice, Rihanna. Thank you, friends. John De Rosa, I know, is here too. So are you ready for the message today? Petitions, very small, very short message. But Mamma Mia, be prepared because Emmanuel is really powering up, okay? Very close to the human sphere, great institutes are raised for the examination of the world's petitions. I will read it again because I bet that you have said, what? Okay. Very close to the human sphere, great institutes are raised for the examination of the world's petitions. Can you believe it? Yes. Things have order in this planet, and close to the earth, there are organizations that are examining people's petitions. You may be asking, what is a petition, right? Let me give us here. Petition. Definition. A formal request typically signed by many people, etc. That's one of them. But in this case, it's an appeal or request, right? An appeal or request. So we're asking for something. And then Emmanuel explains, one man managed to detach himself from the physical body and delivered a petition in form of a prayer in his own favor. The person in charge of the institution wrote down his identity, consulted a large file, and then asked, brother, do you have savings of service to others that entitle you to the concession you request? And the man replied, unfortunately, I do not have any savings, replied the newcomer. So, my friend, go back home and remember that serving others is your most important investment. To ask for something, we need to give something to others. Our work movement here is similar to the banking system on earth. In a way, the prayer request is the same as the check. In this organization, without any deposit of funds, your checkbook is an empty paper and your check is not valid. Period. Done. This is the message. Surprising. You may say, yeah, it makes sense, but surprising the way Emmanuel brings it to us. Because we often ask, we pray and we think, I'm going to ask God, I'm going to ask God, I'm going to ask Jesus, I'm going to ask Dr. Bezerra de Menezes, I'm going to ask Mother Mary, and then we think, should we ask? Okay, so let's go to the Gospel according to Spiritism. right? Because we're talking about hope. Shouldn't we ask? Hope. Okay. Go there. Chapter 27. Right? 27. It's about ask and you shall receive. Whoa. But Jesus said, ask and you shall receive. But how does that work? What is the mechanism? Because Emmanuel is explaining to us that it is possible, but there's a condition. There is a condition. We need to have credit, right? Credit. How do we build credit? Spiritually speaking, by serving others. How many people do we know that say, the day I get better, the day this happens, the day I will help others. How can I help others when I'm sick? How can I help others when I am broke? How can I help others when I am sad? How can I help others? You don't know yourself. I think the good spirits are going to reply in this way, saying, you don't know yourself. You don't know what you're capable of. Because the day you get to know of yourself, you see that you can. It is possible to be sad, but to forget a little bit about it. And you may be asking, but Vanessa, physiologically, it's here. Yes and no. How do we know it? Because the body is not the source of our emotions. The spirit, we, the spirits, are the commanders. So I can tell myself, yes, I may be sad that this is happening in my life. But right now, I need to take care of my child and love my child. Think about a mother who is worried and sad and has to breastfeed a child. How do you not pass on this sadness? Mentor Joseph taught us way back when. He said, you pray first before breastfeeding. You pray, and when you're praying, when you're breastfeeding, you're praying and saying, God, I know I'm not alone. I am the instrument of the nourishment of this child, but you know that I need you to. Please nourish me while you nourish this child through me. I know that through you, anything is possible. That's where hope comes in and faith. Because then I understand that with God, I can overcome it. Then I can ask, but then I will ask in service. I will go to work in spite of anything that is happening, knowing that besides my salary, there are more reasons for me to be at work. It's not only about the survival of the physical body. It is about creating new friendships, winning friends, as Jesus says. We need to go to work with the spirit of making friends, but not friends to drink coffee together and eat popcorn at the movies. Friends, true friends, is about caring for one another's evolution. The concept of friendship in Spiritism is very revolutionary. Why? Because it recalls Jesus' statement, I give you the title friends because that's the highest one. And people are surprised because they think the highest one is to be a family member. No. Because at the end of the day, we are all the same family. That's obvious. I don't need to give you the title of sister and brother because it's obvious that we are. So that's why Jesus did not go through that route. And I'm not being arrogant in trying to figure out what he thought, but we're trying to discern why he used the title of friend. Because we're siblings before God. Family, we are all one family, period. He said, our Father who is in heaven, meaning we're all brothers and sisters, so it's obvious. But the big deal is to be a friend of this sibling, which means I care about you. I am with you in your evolution. I cheer for you. But that doesn't mean we have to be together all the time, BFF in the mundane way. It's about being a BFF in the good. So it's BFFG. BFF in the good, right? So it's all about being a friend. Let's go back to the petition here. He says that when we ask, we shall receive, condition that we also give. So St. Francis was right. Lord, make me instrument of your peace. And then he says, that I look forward to giving than receiving. That I rather focus on loving than being loved, which is Jesus Christ's main modeling for us. As Emmanuel said yesterday, he is the one that sacrificed being loved for loving. For he loved instead of working to be loved. His goal was not to be a guru. That's why in Spiritism, we X out this cult to mediums, cult to spiritual leaders. We may admire people's good deeds in life, but we only adore God. No cult to anybody. We love God above all things. So where are we in our petitions, friends? Today, as we're studying this, what is our take-home message, our exercise that the good spirits are asking us as we're marching towards this celebration of the birth of the Christ on earth? What is it? Is to ask, am I serving enough? Am I helping others enough? How can I serve more? How can I help more? How can I assist more? And then when we ask, it will make more sense. Shall we do this exercise in the next 24 hours? Shall we? So it's very important for us. Adilson is saying that in their Thanksgiving dinner, they open message 65 to ask from the book, The Way, the Truth, and the Life. And it goes along with the studies about petition. Thank you so much, Adilson. So in the Gospel according to Spiritism, it talks about ask and you shall give, you shall receive. But it says as well that we need to have synchronicity with our consciousness, right? Sometimes we don't know what we're asking, as Matthew said, quoted, wrote about the passage with Jesus. And our dear Gilson is mentioning here the quotation from Emmanuel's text. Most believers go to houses of prayer to ask for something. Few go there as genuine children of God who are interested in the growth. So we would like to wrap up in this last moment with a psychological breakdown. The other day, Mentor Joseph mentioned to us, majority of people who go to religious meetings or even spiritist centers, we bring our inner child to be consoled, which is okay. As long as we enter, and as Emmanuel is saying, we boost the inner adult. Many relationships fall apart because we're like children. And I see this including in the Spiritist movement. Because people go there with childish expectations. I want to be loved. I want to be approved of. I want to be appreciated. And then what happens? Oversensitivity. You didn't hug me enough. You didn't love me enough. You didn't pay attention to me enough. And then Mentor Joseph said, we are not meeting at the Spiritist Center to be friends in the mundane world. No, in the mundane way of being. No. We are meeting here to do the good for others and for ourselves. So it's not a club where we get together and say, oh, I love you. No, it's a place where we study about ourselves in immortality. Science, Spiritism is a science. It's a place where we work for the benefit of others as well, and ours. It's a hospital for the souls. It's a temple. So we need to boost the adult and say, why am I here? I'm not here to be loved by the president, by the directors, by the educators, no. I am here for my growth, to get instruction, to serve, to learn new abilities, and to give of myself. No expectation about being loved and appreciated for and expecting that people are going to be pampering us. That is dangerous. So even that petition that many people do, I want to find the best Spiritist center. Well, the best Spiritist center begins when we enter it with an adult that takes responsibility and has no expectation about how others are going to behave, but has all the expectations about how I am going to progress. I don't go to the center to be loved, to be approved of. We don't go to a hospital for that either. We don't go to a school for that either. We go there to find consolation for our questions, for our emotional issues, but not depending on the human beings that are there. Our understanding is that God is the focus of our attention. By thinking that way, we're going to diminish a lot our expectations. And we're going to be able to be anywhere without getting hurt, without also hurting others, because we're going to understand that we are there for our own benefit, the benefit of learning, loving, and serving on our end. We don't expect to create mundane friendships. We are now friends to do the good. So, how are we doing regards our petitions in life? Are we asking without credit? So he says, go home. Remember that serving others is your most important investment. And serving others means sometimes be quiet when people don't understand what we understand. And to ask for something, we need to give something to others. Our work movement here is similar to the banking system. So let us visualize ourselves serving more, helping more. Shall we? That's St. Francis from A to Z, his prayer. May I focus on giving rather than receiving, understanding rather than being understood, in loving rather than being loved. Because we're loved. It's our turn to be the prism of love of God and love people. This is our exercise in the next 24 hours, friends. We thank you for joining us. Let us feel this current of love amongst ourselves and visualize it spreading to everyone in our network of the heart, and see our planet being embraced with the love of our hearts multiplied by the love of God through our Master and Governor Jesus. Amen. Thank you, and until tomorrow, hope and light, several spirits bringing to us more stimulus that is coming from God, saying, go on, keep up the good work. A kiss and a hug until tomorrow, God willing.